Desde el hondo cruzo de la patria se levanta el clamor popular, ya se anuncia la nueva alborada, todo Chile comienza a cantar, recordando el soldado valiente, cuyo ejemplo se hiciera inmortal. Enfrentemos primero la muerte, traicionar a la patria más. Venceremos, venceremos, mil cadenas habrá que romper. Venceremos, venceremos, al fascismo sabremos vencer. Venceremos, venceremos, mil cadenas habrá que romper. Venceremos, venceremos, al fascismo sabremos vencer. Campesinos, soldados y obreros, la mujer de la patria también, estudiantes, empleados, mineros, cumpliremos con nuestro deber, sembraremos la tierra de gloria, socialista será el porvenir, todos juntos haremos la historia, a cumplir, a cumplir, a cumplir. Venceremos, venceremos, mil cadenas habrá que romper. Venceremos, venceremos, al fascismo sabremos vencer. Venceremos, venceremos, mil cadenas habrá que romper. Venceremos, venceremos, al fascismo sabremos vencer.
Hmm.
Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and edit that out, and I thank everybody who stuck through with this. I believe I am going out live. It says that I am. I have had repeated problems with these sort of streams. What you saw right there was just basically a taste of that. Now, this is going to be a stream mostly for the folks over in Europe, I guess, because really I'm doing this very early in the day. I'm doing this at this time because I remember on November 17th, those many, many moons ago, it was about this time of day. I was like, it's going to be sunset in about an hour. I've done all the laundry. What say I give making the video game a try? And that was 8 years ago today. And man, it's taken a little bit longer than I need to. Now, I want to get an elephant out of the room immediately because, yes, I'm wearing an Antifa t-shirt. I am opposed to fascism. My father grew up in the ruins of World War II. He taught me in my entire life what fascism leaves in its wake. because of fascism, he grew up in very filthy, impoverished conditions that led to him contracting polio, which led to his very early death. So yes, I am anti-fascist. I felt I should underline that because apparently there's somebody over on our Steam channel who's creating, or no, our Steam page that's creating a big fuss about this. So I thought I just might bring that out into the open. Just get that taken care of. And you'll have to pardon me. I was fixing up a little issue that I wanted to take. Um, there we go. Let's change children. We were having a problem. I mean, I just realized that a hell of a lot of stuff that on the interiors were not put on the proper layer, so the aim jump does not look proper. It's not behaving. But really, thing is I think it'll take me all of this evening to finish. But really, here's the thing. Grandpa Eric, as you already discovered, just tends to waver and get off subject. So what we're going to do really quick is we're going to try and keep to a schedule, which we are going to, I mean, this is going to be really exciting for everybody. We're going to compose it on the fly, baby. So let's see here. That's my to-do list. And we only have, let me see. Oops, sorry. This is all that lies between these number of things. This small tiny list of about 20 some odd items is all that lies between us and 90% on this list, which makes us ready for our beta. We had to delay. I was really hoping to release on the 8th anniversary of us starting, but unfortunately, for those who don't know, on the 31st of October, Liz passed away. And if you don't know, the first cat you get control of in the game is based on Liz. And then I got an illness, and then we had to do some upgrading on stuff. So we had to put things off for 2 weeks. It's not, I mean, I remember the last time we had one of these delays and it turned into months. It's not going to be that way this time. Hold on for one moment. I'm not used to talking at length. So I always have my, you'll have to pardon me for sipping occasionally here, because I don't want to. And by the way, this isn't just, if I don't think anybody may be even tuning in, but if you are, please say hi in the chat. I consider this whole presentation here to be a two-way thing. If anybody is watching and wants to ask any questions or make any comments or anything, I'm open to that. Even if the scammers, Mike Sharanovsky, I'm sorry, Amy Elizabeth Sharanovsky, or Brett Dunham, or Mike Bonafide, if either three of you are here, say hi over there. Because hell, if nothing else, I'd like to let you know that you didn't stop us. But anyway, let's move on. I'm not going to get off on tangents. But like I said, we're going to make a list on the fly. So what I'm going to do is open up a new document. Venceremos. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go first. I'm going to go a quick copy. Essentially, Laura and I, if you don't know, and it's going to be a very short recap. Laura and I had been talking about making a video game based on the main islands for years and years. In the summer of 2017, unfortunately, we lost Zach, which was a cat that was one of ours. But when he passed away, I thought the best memorial to him was to create this game. And so the work started. And, when I started, I was like, here begins the work of years. And boy, it's good to be very realistic with yourself when you start one of these projects, let me tell you. Because, well, for the first 2 years, essentially, we had very little funding. We had enough funding so that I could go from, full-time at the deli to, 60 hours a week at the deli down to 40 hours a week at the deli and have a couple of days off a week. Boy, those were the heady days. About 2 years in, the project went viral. And then I made some very bad choices in hiring. But in 2022, we rested the project back. Basically from 2020 to 2022, for about 18 months in there was lost. But in 2022, I sat down and I realized, we have a broken mess that we have two choices. We can either give up and become one of those projects that had promised and never was, and whatever happened to, or I can sit here and we can do our damnedest with what we have. And from that moment, I've been working. I mean, before that, I still was work. I was always working 11 hours a day, but it's been hands on. Basically, between for the last 3+ years, almost 4 years, it's just been myself and Laura and one coder. But paradoxically, we've gotten so much done in that time. Um, and so let me see. We were gonna. That's the history. Where we are now is we are very close to what we call a beta demo or a demo, a public demo. I'm thinking of making it public on Steam and letting everybody download it. Now, this demo, I will tell you. I'm going to tell you the bad news first, so we can just get it out of the way. Whenever I've given that choice, you want bad news and good news. Which do you choose first? Always go for the bad news first, because get it over with quick and take the good news. Top it off. If your verbal opponent gives you that option. Now, the bad news is that the game isn't everything that I wanted. The biggest problem that we had was getting a cat controller. The cat controller had to be started over from scratch no less than 4 times. Um, I've never been so consistently disappointed or ripped off in my entire life, because I wanted the cats to be able to climb trees and jump from limb to limb. I wanted the cats to be able to do parkour jumps off of surfaces like cats do. But because the way things were, people are chatting over here. I'm going to check in a second. I just want to finish my thought here. And by the way, hello to everybody in Europe and the United States. Nice to talk to people in Europe, by the way. Again, I really like you guys. I really dig Europe. I haven't been in 24 years, but hopefully one day again, I want to go to visit Mount Athos in Greece. But Grandpa Eric is getting off topic. Anyway, what was I saying? I was getting the bad news. Yeah, the cat action isn't as great as I wanted, but understand the guy who took over the controller. He did the absolute damn best he could with what he was given. And also Lance Stucker, who is the coder. Basically, at a certain point in the game, I brought on this guy. He's a guy in Tijuana, Mexico. Had never worked for any video game company before, no big titles under his belt. But my goodness, this guy, he could code games in his sleep. And this guy, I mean, I consider him as instrumental in getting us to this point as any of the work that me and Laura and I did, because he saved it. He saved us from these people. And again, I'm not going to go over that as much as it sucks. So let me see. My beverage is very low, and I want to get another over to the side, and it's off screen. So I'm going to be back in a moment. Let me just check the chats, and after I'm done with the chats, I'm going to say goodbye for about 20 seconds while I dash off screen, and I'll be right back, and we'll continue. So, hey, Richard Donaldson, hello. I'm butchering your name. That sounds all. Han Chai Han I don't know. Mei Lanwan. Sorry for your loss. One of my male cats passed away. Yeah. Liver. The man. It's just really crazy. I mean, cats within 6 months. I remember I had brought in Liz, and the doctor was going, she's too fat. You got to do something about it. She's eating too much. And then I brought her in next, and he was like, my God, she's lost. I mean, she had literally lost half of her weight within about a month. And anyway, yeah, it was not good. It's never easy, but the thing is, it's something we do for them, because it's just something we have to do. And yeah, it never gets easy. But we did adopt a new kitten. That's another thing that was sort of delayed things as well. Because understand, I adopted Lizzie right after my previous female cat died. And I said I want to not replace her, but basically continue her legacy, because I want to take care of cats that need homes. I just do. I feel it's my responsibility, my obligation. So after Liz passed away, we gave a week of mourning, and then we saw a kitten that was just perfect, and we fortunate enough to get her. Even though we showed up an hour late to the adoption place, and boy, it was a mad rush. But yeah, by the way, I do have the game project open over here, like I was showing you, and we will go over stuff. So while I'm away, if anybody wants to type over there, the one or two people that did respond, um, what they would like to know about the game or anything they want me to particularly address, please let me know. I'm going to be back, like I said, in about 20 seconds. So I will. Now we're back, and another thing is I really want to put on some music in the background because, if nothing else, some drone, you know. Oh, and yeah, this is a guy. By the way, this is just sort of do not buy. Peace Island advocates for terrorism and censorship. Um, I don't recall us doing anything like that. If anybody out there knows, please let us know. Um, I mean, I do understand that the guy who lives in the White House has designated Antifa as domestic terrorism. Um, he could choke on what I got down there, if you know what I'm saying. As far as that's concerned, I consider that to be about as valid as all of his other just stupid proclamations that he always issues. So let's go. Does anybody have any? I mean, somebody said, those lo-fi beats. I think one of those is pretty good. Lo-fi, or maybe a Soviet wave. Soviet wave, yeah. And by the way, some people may have noticed in like recent pictures, of like magazine articles that they may have seen within the game, that I'm trying to like glaze the USSR, the Soviet Union. Ooh, I left my cup. I have to go back and get my cup. I don't drink out of cans. That's so uncivilized. Yeah. The real reason is I'm drinking, just a 16-ounce cans of that feel-free, gas station crack. I just don't want to have that on camera. But anyway, oh man, have you heard about that stuff? It's crazy what's going on. Anyway, let's not. So yeah, I'm just gonna put on a Soviet wave mix and put it at a low volume. So yeah, yeah. Tell me if the like mixing is okay on your end. I have to lower it here because it's just blasting into my speakers here. Okay. Hopefully the audio levels are fine. Oh, just May. Okay. Don't feed the trolls. Well, I mean, I don't. Maybe it is feeding, but I just like engaging with those kind of people and asking, what exactly are you talking about? I mean, if you're willing to give me an example of what you think my terrorist thing is, I mean, I think is, if you did not know, for many years I worked in politics, in and around politics, and I'm just sort of curious. I mean, I remember when we could disagree very vehemently, but not like call each other terrorists and stuff. It's just kind of crazy. So I'm on this sort of endless search. And I'm going to get off of politics really. Last statement I'll say: I'm in this search for a civil conversation with a Trump supporter. I'm sort of actually in the middle of one right now. But anyway, I think I told you the bad news about about what I hoped the game would be. We didn't get as much, cat control in there. And another thing that sort of vexes me is a lot of the game design was depended on how the controller worked. So for so many years, we were just sort of shooting in the dark because of what happened, because of my stupid choices, and I'm done blaming myself. Because here's the thing: as much as I hate the scammers, I mean, and all I could do is all we were guilty of is actually like engaging in business on good faith with people, and heck, if that's a crime, whatever. But yeah, I think what we did is I'm going to go to an external shot of this. Let's see, I think it's page 41, I think. The first thing I focused on was apparently there was a guy who was supposedly doing the colliders for all the buildings. The guy actually was just slapping a cube collider on them and calling it done, whether it was aligned with the building or not. So I had to spend about 2 months redoing every external collider in the game. Every last one. Then I moved on to making it so that the cats could walk across the power lines, which is, one thing. And I mean, once Lance got it so the cats could climb, we fixed it so the cats could, go across power lines. And after that, I think what I did was, as I was doing that, I was just marking all the things that was wrong. And this is in 2020, early 2022, winter. And, let's just see. Just zoom in. Oh, there we go. All right, well, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. Oh, I just got the town hall in there. That's odd. Don't I have the exterior? Oh, I don't. I actually could turn that on, I believe. Yeah, I do. There we go. Nope, the exterior is not. Come on, guys, don't embarrass me, guys. Okay, yeah. All the sectors. They have to be in. Where did it? Sector. Heck, we're just going to import them, and I can show you. We're just going to import them, the biggest ones, and just move outward so I can show you. But once we got things moving, and we got the game to the point that people could run around, and and it wasn't too embarrassing, and we had a controller that worked, I took an accounting of what we had. Now, during those 18 months that those people were doing everything they could to sabotage the project. And scammers, if you're watching this, don't deny it. You were doing it. I mean, Mike Bonafide was literally deleting my work every day for years. So don't deny that. Anyway, let's move on. I just said, I took an account of what we had. While those guys were basically fucking us over on my dime, and understand, I made sure that the people who did this only took about 1% of our Patreon community's money. So, just saying that. That's another thing that scammers really and on you, being just too ashamed to admit that you were taken advantage of. The thing is, I can't be ashamed. Because, anyway, let's move on. Yeah, after I got all the colliders in and everything, took an accounting. I think that's the 5th time that I've said that. And the one thing that Laura and I worked on that Mike Bonafide couldn't erase, and that wasn't relied on the coding that these guys had screwed up, and was existing and in our own space, was the story. Laura and I, all during that time, we did everything we could to make. I'm just making sure that I have the right sectors selected. Have you ever played Gone Home? I mean, about when at the time that we were starting this game, everybody was trying to capture the magic of Gone Home, and guilty, we are too. But we wanted to make it so that, the premise of the game is all the humans are gone for one reason or another. And we wanted it so everybody on the island has their own handwriting font. we have their entire biographies worked out from where they were born, where they were, how they met other people on the island, whether they were from away, what events they went through, etc., etc. And we wanted to make and to portray who these people were, introduce all of these people to the character through environmental storytelling and stuff that was left behind by them. And the one thing that thankfully, let me see. So what we did was we started. You can see here. I mean, I had to go through every interior, redo all these staircases. These staircases were just a nightmare. I had to sculpt, specific mesh sliders for these guys, for lack of better sliders, whatever, colliders, so the cats could walk up them, and because if you've ever played Red Dead Redemption, even Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2. Anyway, they couldn't get stairs right. Stairs are virtual. It is tough. It is tough. Anyway. Let's see. And you can see all these colliders, hand placed, everything here. And when I say the world was handmade, yes, absolutely. Everything here was made from scratch, with the exception of one or two structures that were pre-purchased assets. And that was because, well, they looked better than what we had at the time. And I think, again, just two structures. This one over here and this one over here. Those are the only two pre-made structures in the entire thing. And understand, my attitude toward, there's a criticism about asset flipping, and I think that's absolutely valid, because I have been in game design tournaments where I've been a judge, and I've had students just present something where they obviously didn't put any thought into it or anything, or any challenge or any real gameplay into them. So, here's the thing: if you're a solo developer and you don't have a 3D, if you don't know 3D as well and you can't do it very fast, it's okay to spend $5-10 on an asset that will save you 20-30 hours of time. I think that's completely legitimate, as long as you don't depend on assets to do everything for you. I mean, we didn't rely on anything to do the story behind the game, by the way. But anyway, so after I got the exterior working as best as I could, I turned my focus toward just adding all those letters and books and such. But when I started off with the letters, and I think by the time I stopped doing the letters, there were about 200 pages of just letters, calendars, stuff that you could find. I mean, receipts, just stuff that's flyers, and there are brochures for tourist stuff that's on the mainland that you can find all around there. And every one of them, again, handmade. And I will say, this is something that I think I'm completely honest with you about, is that at a certain point, when generative AI became a thing, and I'm going to turn off Collider so we can see the stuff here a little bit more clearly. And by the way, it has a blood red light because there is an event. Anybody who's played through the intro mission knows that there's an event that flashes over there. That light is constantly active, so in my test scenes. So everything is looking like just a blood-drenched nightmare. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, at the very, I was like, we've been ripped off so much. I feel that generative AI gives us a chance to just catch up and produce a lot of stuff quickly. And at the beginning, yes, I would say that I made the mistake of depending on generative AI. Now, we still use generative AI to clean up photographs of some of the people who contributed to the game's development. And I'll show you another example of where we use generative AI. And we're going to do another test, by the way, a little bit later on, to show you, show you that the extent, when I say there's 900 pages of written material. I'm pretty sure a lot of people go, oh yeah, they just used AI. No. So what we're going to do is, but I'll show you an instance where we did use generative AI for writing. So what I'm going to do here is, let's see, we have to go to magazines, Synthetica. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, here. This legalese text. This was written by AI because at a certain point, I did get in touch with the writers that we work with, and I asked them, do you want to write a paragraph of pointless legalese that'll be as font so small that it can't be read? And none of them really went, yeah, I'll do that. So, yeah, we relied on generative AI for that. But that was back in the past. But what it did allow me to do is it allowed me to fill out the rest of the magazine. And over the last couple of months, or 3 months, I think we've been having this intensive just go through and remove any remaining AI crap that we had in there. Because yeah, and yeah, all of these, again, I'll show you. This is just one magazine out of 4 that you'll find in the game. I plan 8 in the full game, if not more. And yeah, it's strange that in an alternate 2020, magazines are still a thing. But hey, I think this takes place at a time when COVID didn't happen. Essentially, we decided that at a certain point. That was part of the alternate history. And we don't expect anybody to sit down and read these magazines or these articles all in one sitting. But if you want to skim through, please do. There are a lot of story details and a lot of stuff that that will help people through what we want them to do in the beta. In the beta demo, in the demo that we're releasing, we want people at the end of it to have 1 or 2 theories on their own of what might have happened to the humans. Now, even if you don't read the magazines, I guarantee, or you know, all the stuff that's lying around, I guarantee you'll still be able to come up with 1 or 2 ideas just by looking around and paying attention. But if you do spend a little bit of time just reading a book, we expect this to be sort of like a casual game, like Myst was, you know, where you didn't mind just sitting and reading a book for a while. Yeah, because I don't mind those sort of things. I kind of like it. In fact, when I was playing Detroit Become Human, I was really upset that when you open those magazines, I think it just had like an outline in one article. It didn't have all of the articles and everything. And another reason why I wrote all of this stuff is because we have a hell of a lot of patrons that wanted their names mentioned in the game one way or another. And by writing this, we were able to include their names as characters, influential people, politicians, etc., etc. So really, I think after I got, I have to remember when I got to, let me just see if I can open this up. I know I still have it here somewhere. My desktop, I think I have my to-do list, right? To-do list, to-do. I have 2 copies of the same one. Notepad, here we go. I can't say that I'm a big fan of Windows 11. But I think through the entire history, basically what I did was I created a list. Like I said, as I was going around, I found a list of everything that I saw wrong. And by the end of that, we had a list of about 200 things. I fixed those. And along the way, the list grew to over 700 things. And when I got to 90% of that on that list, I said, we are officially out of alpha. And then I took the remaining 10%, and I think at that time it was about 70 items, 79, 80 items. I just started fixing those, and along the way, adding more stuff. And that was the second list. And when we got to the end of that, I said, okay, we are, I'd say we are basically close to beta. That's a beta preview. And that list, the remaining list from that, I think, again, it was 4,000 items. from the time that I started making that list to today, it was over 4,000 items that we fixed. Either and these days I don't even list bugs that we fix to the list. Because I found it a way to just sort of pad the list and make it look like we were doing more than we were. So these days, we may fix 5 bugs for every one thing we mark off the list, but we don't put that on there. And right now, like I said, at the very beginning, we had this. This was the final list here, and we're done with everything except for about that much. Yeah, about this much. And out of 2,000 items. But here's the thing. When we're done with this, we will still have 9 items. And I'm going to start again on that list. And we are going to work on those. And I think when I get done with that list, we'll be like, yes, absolutely, we're ready for a public beta. You know what I'm saying? Where I can open it to the public. Because right now we are still discovering things. I mean, just today I discovered why the aim jump mechanism is not registering a lot of like tables and stuff in the game properly, and I'm just rapidly going through and fixing all that, and I got to go through. It'll take me about a day. I may add that to the list to say yes, that's one thing we definitely fixed. It's worth mentioning. And I'm just going to zip in here and let's see when along this thing did it come to me at writing the books. I'm gonna go puffball. Yeah, that was about the time we started adding, the foliage around the game. Let's see. Pitch deck. Sorry, I know this is the most exciting of things. If you guys suggested things you wanted to know or see, okay, let's see. Lindsay June? Yeah, this is about the time. Yeah, Taste of Lethe. This is when I was writing the books. I think that was the last iteration of the list, capital TL. And yeah, that was the last iteration. So I would say it was about 3 months ago that I started writing the books. And that was its own thing. And let me tell you, and these books, I will say they are not, it's not Shakespeare, because, oh my God, Shakespeare's boring. But they're not, Clive Cussler or anything like that. But they are. Everything in the books has something to do with something in the game. Everything. I made a very big point that every letter, everything, it's all self-referential. So that if you see a date in there, or you see a number, or you see something, all of those things are significant. Everything in the game is significant in one way or another. And I mean, for example, there's, in the car magazine, let me just show you. Open. Cars. Just gonna open this here. Yeah, there's an article here about a self-driving mechanism that you will encounter later in the game when you gain access to the fuel, the gas station. That'll play into it later, and everything in here, like I said, but I had to take steps, because if you've ever seen the film Donnie Darko and are confused of what it's all about, I'll explain it really quickly here. Donnie Darko has been shunted into a pocket universe. And the only way for at the end of the movie, he collapses the universe by dying. By him reappearing on his bed as the engine falls on him. That's why he's laughing at the end, because he was able to seal away that pocket universe in which that girl died, and everything was going badly for everybody else. But he did it at the sacrifice of his own life. But anyway, coming back to this, I had to take measures because I thought some people are going to think, oh, all the humans are gone because, the cats are shunted into a pocket universe. That one episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where it's only Wesley Crusher. It's like the universe is an oblate spheroid 300 meters wide, and I wanted to negate that as, because that's lazy writing, I think. That, it's an alternate space-time continuum or rift or something, and everything resets back the way it was. It's sometimes done successfully, but I think it's always cheap. Anyway, So yeah, I started writing all this stuff. Now, what we wound up with in the end is, as far as the game goes right now, is sort of it is a walking simulator with stats and survival elements. Because you're going to have to keep your cats entertained and fed. And you can turn that off, by the way, in the settings. If you just want to walk around and explore and read and observe, you just shut that off so you don't have to take care. Otherwise, because if you don't take care of your cats, they are going to run away and you'll have to go and find them and, bring them back into your clouder, or the available cats that you have. And in the beta, you will have access to 4 cats total. One moment. In the full game, you'll have 9. But I think you'll still be able to communicate with 2 of the cats, 2 of the other cats through doors, because one of them is in the basement of the market, the other one is in the basement of a house. Where's the other 3? Yeah, Ronan, we can't bring him in because we're still doing some work on him. And the other 2, actually, you do see Zach if you go down to one of the bus homes that's down there. But anyway, trust me, it isn't just because there are also NPC species that will give you missions, and you have to gain their confidence. Once you do your introductory mission, you gain their confidence, and you get like a short introduction. These are who we are, and we came up with. I don't know if anybody here is a big fan of speculative evolution or alternate evolution sort of things. We came up with, like, every species that you meet has a different origin story that's different from what humans think they are. And there's I think there's a half hour of audio. No, I think over an hour of audio in there. There's an audio book. There's a podcast. 1 episode of a podcast. We plan on having 6 episodes total in there. There's an audio book that's I don't know whether we should keep it in there, because it's something from the early days when I just was testing, can we have something like that in there, and I never took it out. But anyway, and I think there are currently about 50 either quest trailheads, quest starts. And I forget, but I think about a dozen of them are complete, where you can complete them. I know we're going to have it so that you can complete the introductory missions for all of the NPC species, because we want that. It would be because we have them in there now for, I think, about 4 species, and we want them in there for all of them. So we have them in there for snail, we have them deer, chicken, and beaver. And I think we have 4 more. There are also events that will happen around the game world that you will hear it if you're paying attention. There is one thing. It was inspired by an unmade movie by Shane Carruth called A Topiary. And you have to be basically a certain point on the map at a certain time every day and be paying really close attention for about a week of real time. And so again, this is a game about, it's supposed to be, and if I have not said this before to people who are watching, I believe the job of a storyteller, especially when it comes to video games, is not to handhold the reader and tell them, this is what's happening now, this is what's happening now. It is to lay all of of what's going on in front of the person, the reader or the player, and let them come up with their own ideas. You don't want to exposition the people to death. You don't want to tell them, no, you're wrong. You want to give them the joy of thinking, maybe my idea is right. One of my ideas is right. And even if it isn't right, there will be elements to it that maybe at least they will have gone, we just hope that there'll still be some satisfaction in following one's own clues and their own deduction. And again, Okay. My camera mic is working, but my video feed isn't. So I'm gonna have to get rid of this for just one moment. And I have a feeling that effing error message has been going on nonstop for the last 20 minutes, and anybody who watches this is probably gone by now. Sorry. Let me see. I want video cut. Nice. Call this HD webcam. Yep. Okay, we're seeing each other again. All right, great. I'm gonna bring myself back here. So anyway, sorry for all that. Hopefully we won't see that error message again. And I'm sorry if it really annoyed. Let's see if we have anybody still watching. I mean, after that annoyance, just going on. Yep, I'm alone. Okay. Well, everybody's. YouTube is saying that nobody's watching now. I think we literally lost everything because of that persistent error message. If anybody's still in the chat, let me know. Because I think we lost everybody. Okay, well, nobody, yeah, we lost everybody due to that persistent effing error issue. Or really, maybe nobody was ever interested. Heck, I'm going to just keep on going, because, whatever. So, let's see here. Oh, hi, May. I appreciate that. Hello. Is there anything you wanted to know? I mean, let me see. Thank you, by the way. I done dozens of streams of me working on this over the years. Now, I just want to say, and I want to make this a part of it. I didn't anticipate Peace Island taking this long either, but if you want to be, I mean, if you're somebody waiting for our game and are disappointed that it's taken so long, I'm sorry for the belching, by the way, Rick Sanchez here. But trust me, I feel the same way. I'm very sorry, but the only way I can make up for the time lost was working my butt off. I have done, again, people, if you go over to our Discord, I mean, people are constantly telling me, you gotta take some time off, Eric, you gotta take some time off, you're gonna overwork yourself. Maybe. Actually, that's the one thing. When I got my, I think my stomach ulcer, I believe that's what it was, because it fit every last thing. I couldn't work for 2 days simply because I was just too weak. Anyway, I couldn't walk across our apartment. That did force me to slow down. By the way, this is only a tiny part of the island. But let me see. Where was I going to go with this? But yeah. Yeah, the reason it took so long again is because of the decisions that I made. But I've done everything I can to make up for those bad decisions. I knew, because I felt responsible, and I mean, literally, the suckiest part was remembering back during the COVID epidemic and getting like letters from people whose spouses had died of COVID, and discovering that they, were paying to have their spouse's name inside of Peace Island, and hearing from their spouse going, why is my husband's or wife's money going in here? Those were really hard, and that was one thing that made me real. That was when I realized that we had been ripped off for almost 2 years. I again had that choice of just quitting, but I said I just can't. I just can't, because of things like that. And by the way, I don't think I think I've explained the project's lineage from then up to now. I'm going to say straight up, I don't think any publishers are going to be interested in Peace Island. I simply don't. The video game industry right now is going through a really bad, weird spot where everybody is just basically looking for, a monthly sub shooter or something that they could put loot boxes in. And all the game companies are just, they are not interested in anything that's story driven. Or anything bizarre or offbeat like we're making. And also because Annapurna Interactive came out with Stray, I don't know. The whole cat game thing is not there's also Big Kitty Little City, and the whole cat game concept is as cool as it was once. But again, we can't give up. What we're going to do is we're going to release it for early access or early purchase on Steam and itch.io, with the promise that we will have the first act complete in 6 months, and we are hoping that the first third will be interesting enough that it will drive sales that will, allow us to build the last third. No, the rest of the game. And I know that's a big if there, but I gotta keep on working on it as best as I can. If I have to go back to working, part-time or full-time in another job, I'll just go back to where I was, where I get home after the day of, 8-10 hours of work, and I go back to working on game. But actually here in Portland, if I went out and got a minimum wage job right now, I would make more money than I do making this game. I never paid myself more than, like, what Portland minimum wage was. Now I pay myself far less on a weekly basis. Really, if you worked it down, I think I basically make federal minimum wage, which is around $7 an hour. Because I work 70-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks sometimes. Well, never an 80-hour week. I used to do those for Atari, actually, back in the day when I worked for them, and I was going to do one last really thing, because it doesn't seem... Oh, somebody is there? Yeah, I am keeping up. So what I wanted to do, and really, this shouldn't be a video that's too long, so I'm going to do this at the end. Like I said, we have people out there who are these, this sign, to show you, where is that sign? Town Hall. Let's bring this open. There you go, all the way down there. You see, everything exists persistently in the scene. Inside their own scenes. Yeah. The location that you gain access to, like, external resource potable. There we go. I'll drink toilet water. Yeah. In fact, I'm wondering... Well, actually, no. We have a wooden door there. This is an interior. This is a sort of a fallout shelter that's like in the basement of the town hall. And this is where you discover an item that... Part of the thing of the game is, we expect people to wander around the entirety of the game island. And we haven't restricted it off like Grand Theft Auto does, because throughout the game you'll discover things that will will make you need to go, well, want to go around the entire island again to find things. And in here you'll find a Geiger counter. And if you pick that up and carry it around the island, you'll discover more clues about what was going on the island. And yeah, we tried to make this ironically bad in its design. Like this is, yeah, they said, oh yeah, we'll make it, this place that looks sort of like outdoors, and it will put plastic hedges up, the ironic design and such. Actually, because we're zooming around, I could put it into ultra. With fake like lit panels with just outdoor scenes on them. And yeah, okay. Well, yeah. What I was going to do, I was going to just go through some of this, and of course, like I said, we're going to get some people there accusing us of using AI to write books. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let's see. Let's use ChatGPT just ironically for something here. Let's just see. Give us 5 numbers between 1 and 16. 7, 14, 3, 11, 2. I happen to have a folder of all the books. Let's see. Yep. These are not all the books. These do not contain the magazines, but we can go through those as well. But so some people may say, oh, yeah, they used generative AI to create the all the books in there. No, we did not. In fact, let's go to this place called I think it's GPT-0. This is the most unforgiving AI detector. When I first was doing this sort of test to demonstrate that we weren't using AI, it flagged one of my texts because it said the word swirling is suspicious. And so I had to think, does that mean that anybody using swirling in their text is dependent upon AI? I don't know. So what we're going to do here is we have our... oh, I'm sorry. We did not get our numbers. All right. So we have 7, 14, 3, 11, and 2. And we're going to count those. So it's 2, 3, 7, 11, and 14. 2, 3, 7, 11, and 14. These are the books that we have decided that random numbers have chosen out of all of the books that we wrote. And as you saw, those are dynamic. Those are generated dynamically. I had nothing to do with weighting that in any way. So what we could do is we're going to just let's see. We're just going to create another folder in here. New. And grab those again. Test. Twist. So we have 2, 3, 4, 7, 10, 11, and 12, 13. We're going to move all of those into our test folder. Now, here's our first novel named Cats on Elm. Oh, no, it's actually titled Alex. It was originally called Cats on Elm, but that was a misappropriation of anything. So what we're going to do is just opus us in the middle. So what we're going to do for the first one is we're going to grab just this. And we're going to stick this right into GPT-0. And see. And by the way, I already know the results of all of these because you see, I wrote these. Oops, it's too big. Human. We could do, an extended scan, but I'm not paying to, satisfy somebody else's weird fears or need to because I just have, I've talked about this, and this is the only time I'm going to talk about it. Is that there are unfortunately, like I said, some self-appointed AI detectives out there that just, and I have to think, they do this because they're unable to create themselves. That's the only reason, and because of their anger over their inability to create. Oh, here's the. I'm gonna have to call not right on this one is still in works. So what we're gonna do is not use five. Nope. Apologies. We're gonna choose another one at random. And what the heck? Let's go back over to our. You see, Scotty and I are still working on that. I don't have all the text for that yet because that's a backup. Let's just go with eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If you hollers, let me know. My mom told me to pick this one. Isabella. Okay. Go test. All right. We already went through that, so we're going to go through Ireland's novel, Kathy Ireland. All right. And we're just going to choose, like I said, the text. Oops. I accidentally created text field there. So grab that, bring it over here. Please. Back to the beginning. And sorry. Think. Oh yeah, I forget. It pops up a new each time. We're going to paste that in there, and we're going to go, of course, scan. Yawn, human, as you can see, human. Let's go to the next one. Isabella. And for this one, we're just going to go to the end. Let's just grab a couple of chapters. Human, of course. Go to our folder. We just have two more to go through. And I'm pretty sure, the self-appointed detectives, AI detectives, are going to go through all of our books. And you know what? They're just going to waste their days because, again, everything in here has been written by humans. Oops. It says, oh, there's some unhuman stuff in here. Let's just check what it says. Are the thread. These are the thread of truth. And it says these are, it should be, oh, so it considers AI, or is this like assuming that maybe that word, I trust me, I remember reading it and I said, no, these are the thread. It's that was chosen very deliberately. Because this was my, I don't know, this was sort of like my attempt to write like Gene Wolfe. Well, no, I know how to write Gene Wolfe. So if you don't know Gene Wolfe, his stuff is just the way it is. So let's just see. There was one more book that we needed to just check. So because I don't want people to think, oh, I'm buying a game that's just full of a bunch of AI crap. Now this is another one that's kind of difficult because you can see this is actually a children's book. I'm wondering if I can bring in images there and it will tell me. Let's just see. Yeah, I can only put in text. So I could tell you, I mean, we just open here. Hey, Mr. Dog arrives first from the north. He brings gifts from the. Um, we didn't need AI to help us with that. Just saying. Um, so again, we owe with the self-appointed AI detectors. So let's just go, Kelly. All right, I all right. Let's gonna just grab let's get another scan. And voila, Hugh. So uh, that's all I can really put that out there is I mean, I just know that we're going to get a lot of people going, oh yeah, these people just took a shortcut. And I have to go back, and this is said the last thing was the last thing I'm ever going to say about people like that, but this is the last thing I'm ever going to say about that. They take on this appointment that they give themselves, this white knighting that they're doing, because they are incapable of creating anything themselves. And on top of that, they cannot conceive of actually being so emotionally and personally invested in a project that they have created. When they do encounter somebody who has done something like that, they immediately go, AI, it's got to be AI. And I think that is the saddest thing of all, out of all of this. That we have people that really, if they just took, I mean, writing is a craft. It's not an art. You can learn to write. I used to be an illustrator too. I mean, I think anybody can learn how to draw if they know the certain fundamentals. So really, I just wanted to touch on that one last thing. But let's see if we have any more. Oh, May. Oh, hi. Hola, buenas. Se luego. Cuando, tell you what, my Spanish is horrible. I can read a teeny bit, but I don't speak it. So you'll have to pardon me. Borges, Toledo. Hopefully that's how I pronounce this properly, because usually I knew a guy from Mexico. You pronounce the X as with the that way. Anyway, let's see. Quando, tell you what, email us at info@peaceislandgame.com. Just identify you. Just tell me, tell me you're voracious and voracious. Tell me tell me, and we'll work something out. Okay. Um, and I think I've already explained, what's going to happen is, um, at the end of this month, we are going to consider Peace Island, beta. And we're going to, again, just throw that open to, we've had it open to all of our patrons and all of our supporters. And, but only about 1/3 of the people who are eligible for one have actually come to claim theirs. We're going to do one last push on that while we get that and then we're going to throw the beta open, because here's the thing. Once we get to that stage, we want to send it, like I said, I don't think we're going to get a publisher interested in Peace Island at this point. It's too obscure, it's et cetera, et cetera. But but we do want to give it a try. There are a few publishers that have contacted us and they say, hey, we're interested. So what we're going to do is, again, on November 30th, we're going to throw it open to all of our patrons again. And we're going to say, please, please, please contact us. And we're going to let people who are streaming start streaming previews. Now, it usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks to hear back from a publisher. During those 3 to 4 weeks, we are going to work our butts off on, again, like I said, take what was remaining on the list and getting to 90% on there. Because there are still things that are in the wish list I want to add to that. We've been able to add some stuff that was on the wish list, strangely enough, that I didn't think that we were going to be able to, such as that thing that I mentioned earlier where you have to pay attention. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I don't speak English. Are you toying with me there? Borges? Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing. Even if we're trolling, we're going to do it for you here, okay? We're going to go to translate. And my goodness. And I know translate is run by AI. We're going to say it. Okay. We're just going to type it out in English. And you see, Spanish is what I go for. We actually have a Spanish, an Espanol trailer. So, let's see. The game will be available for patrons on November 30. while uh, w- um, concurrent with that, we will be submitting to publishers. When we get the expected no, we will open it up for early access on Steam. And Steam with the promise of a release 6 months later. 6 months later. When we get the expected Steam, and hopefully make the demo publicly available. With the promise of release 6 months of a release of the game 6 months. Okay, there we go. So here's what you got here.
El juego estará disponible para los mecenas el 30 de noviembre. Simultáneamente, lo enviaremos a las editoriales. Cuando consigamos la financiación necesaria. Lo lanzaremos en acceso anticipado en Steam y, si todo va bien, también publicaremos la demo para todo el público, con la promesa de lanzar el juego 6 meses después.
All right, there you go. Hopefully that answered your question. Oh, okay, good, okay. Okay, gracias. De nada. Yeah, no problem. So anyway, it looks like I think I covered. I mean, you'd probably want to see like a thing of how the game plays. Let me see here. Oh my goodness! I just noticed something. Gotta fix that. What's that? Looks like there's some sort of gap there between these two things. Something. Yeah, right there. There's an offset. That's not good. Okay. Weird. Okay, I think I see what it is. It's not what I thought it was. It's this wall coming through the other side. So yeah, I find it kind of silly that I mean, here's the thing. I'm not going to criticize anybody who's Spanish who has a like a first language that they can't speak English because most Americans we can't speak any. I mean, hell, most Americans can't speak American English. IMHO. So it is what it is. I'm not going to discriminate any. Like my T-shirt says here, I welcome the immigrant. My father was an immigrant to this country. Um, I mean, not saying that everybody speaks Spanish as immigrant, but I try to say, you know, hashtag not all Americans. I'm one of the apparently few white males in this country that didn't vote fascist this time. And anyway, we're not going to get off into politics. Anyway, let me tell you. Also in the beta, they're going to be. I mean, you're going to have access to 80% of the game world. I'll show you here. Let's go to. Oh yeah, this one. You're going to have access to everything in the island with the exception of, and I'm just going to just do this really quick. In the demo, and I've said this many times and I stand by it, the Peace Island demo will contain more stuff to do and more stuff to see than your average entire, you know, indie game. You'll have access to the entirety of the island, except for these areas up here. You'll have access to, I think now 11 interiors. Again, 50 quests, many of which can be finished. 900 pages. Oh, I think it's over 900 pages now of original content, books that you can read, stuff that you can see, or I think, like I said, about an hour of audio, a half hour of video. That's in a demo for the game. Again, that's more than most games have, and most indie games have their entirety. And trust me, if people are going, oh, how is it? I expect to be there. when I said about 6 months ago, I said, "Oh, there are probably going to be about 2,000 pages worth of content in there." I think it's going to be far more than that. And if people think, "Oh, you're going to have a hard problem really stretching stuff out, coming up with interesting stuff to include in there," absolutely not. One of the things I really liked about Fallout 3 was no matter what kind of story you were in, you'd find something in there, one dungeon, I'm sorry, one, building, one fallout shelter, something that was up your alley. And inside this game, we're trying to include as many kinds of stories as we can, as many as we can. The love story, the time travel story, the sci-fi story, yeah, we understand when you throw everything at the wall, nothing sticks. But hold on for a minute. We're very conscious of the concept of a concept overload. But and at a certain point, like I said, at a certain point when I think it was when I was like, we're getting to the point where people may think it's a mirror universe. No, I'm sorry, a pocket universe storyline. I think that was when I said, okay, we need to just stop. Because hard to explain when you're dealing with a story with so many angles. Um, sometimes I say when I'm creating a new document or a new book for this game, it's more like I'm building a watch or something. This whole game, I'm building a watch because you have so many things that have to work together precisely, and in so many ways. Otherwise, everything is thrown off. And yeah. Most of the stuff that remains to be done right now is, again, I think, writing about 1,500 pages worth of stuff, which again probably will take me about a couple of months, and that's for the entire game, not for the just for the for the first act. I'm talking for the full game. Um, I think we're very, very close. And I've never worked on anything as big as anything like this before. And if you've not visited the island, there's a heck of a lot. There's the downtown area over here where this was built in World War II. This is Old Town up here. Over here you have the old World War II battery. Over here you have a crazy guy that's he basically thinks he runs his own country still, sort of like the Republic of Dave in Fallout 3. That was one of the things I really liked. I didn't know you could literally, tilt the election and such. And over here, there's an old fish plant, and there's sort of like a Burning Man sort of art event going on there. It was going on just as all the people disappeared, left. It's up to you to figure out and understand. Every one of these structures has a history, and this used to the library used to be the old water pumping house. This people who live in this one of them is a guy. He is a brother of the woman who runs the market. He met his husband when he was serving overseas when he was injured, and he was actually flown by a medevac pilot that just happened to be the wife of the guy who was the harbor master up here. Everything in the game is related. Everything intertwines into each other. Like nothing was put in here without some thought. Is all I could say. And I understand again. There are going to be people out there that are not going to be interested in a walking, simulator with lots of reading and just observation and talking and, just searching for stuff. Again, one of the reasons that the missions in the first game, that you'll encounter in the beta are going to be simple is because these are, if you've ever played a video game, the easiest puzzles are always at the beginning. I wrote an entire dissertation. It was like several pages long. Let me go over to Reddit. We recently reopened our Reddit, by the way, about why. And you can see it if you go over there. Let me just see. Let's see, Peace Island. Only one. Let's see. Community highlight. Yeah. See, save load system. Apologize our absence from Steam page. Gosh, where did I wrote this? Because I wrote a very long explanation. 81%. If I didn't have it, it's at the very at the end of the manual. Yeah, we're just going to go there. Let's see. I think it's a piece like the manual. It's legal manual. Because there's a problem. If you've noticed, very few people, and I think this is a good thing to end on, very, very few game companies have ever been able. Oh my gosh, that's an ancient one. Wrong one. Oh, that's the oldest one. Boy, that was a short manual. Those were the days. Let's just go back to that. Boy, that was the manual for it. But yeah, why beta demos of open world adventure games are so rare? If you look back to any open world video game franchise or video game, they do not release. Did they release a demo of Skyrim? Did they release a demo of what was it? Wasn't Fable? Maybe Fable. I don't think they released one of that. And there was the other one from Germany. Goodness gracious, I forget the. Or no, Starfield. Well, we don't want to go to. Really, I can't think of any game within the last quarter century, open world adventure game that has released a demo. And there are reasons why. Let's see. Let's just go through this. It is very difficult to present, and I'm going to paraphrase this. It is very difficult to present a vertical slice of an open world adventure game of this size that stands on its own, doesn't spoil the story, and accomplishes that, but also demonstrates the full game mechanics and progression systems. For example, in the case of a game such as Red Dead Redemption or The Witcher game, if the developers released a demo that simply dropped the player into the middle of the world and the story, the player has absolutely no concept of what the greater story is, the stakes, or how any systems within the game really work. Also, if the developers released a demo that started the player from the beginning, as we are, they are restricted to a tutorial intro and the beginning of the stories that I would want to relate. You see? So those are the two basic reasons why. It's very hard to relate what is in a game, an open world game in this genre, in this style, inside of a demo. And I guarantee you, people are going to be disappointed. Like I said, you can't. One of the biggest mistakes you can make as a game developer is tell any publisher, "This is a game for everybody." Such a game does not exist. You could say, "Oh, come on, solitaire, football." No, I hate football, and quite frankly, between solitaire and the game of Ur, I prefer the game of Ur, quite frankly. So, now the way we are trying to address these problems. The Peace Island demo, as I said before, contains more content than many indie games do in their entirety. There is attention to detail. We are not just releasing something that you can blunder through and go, "Oh, I've seen it." No, you have to pay attention. Every interior, every room has something in there that is important to the overall story. The next thing, something for just about everyone. As I said before, I should have gone through this before, but we're going again. One of the few things that Bethesda got right in Fallout 3 was they included something for everybody, which sort of flies in the face of a game for everybody, but they're two different things. Trust me, if you are an open world video game aficionado and you played Fallout 3, there was something in there for every taste. It just was, except for the ending. The ending sucked horribly. And the last thing that really I'll say we did to try and overcome the limitations of such a limited release of an open world game uh, is that we did our level best. Um, I have never worked so hard and as long on anything in my entire life. Um, I every day. I mean, I rarely take a day off, even on the days where, during the summer when I'm like, I'm gonna just take a ferry out somewhere. As soon as I get home, I'm back to work. I don't think I've taken a full day off. Well, no, I took a full day off when I was sick recently. Prior to that, I think we have to go back 2 or 3 years before. No, yeah, 2 or 3 years. I think I had a vacation in early 2022. So maybe, yeah, to about 3 years was that. And during that vacation, I got poisoned. And jeez, it was awful. So anyway, that's where the game is today. Hopefully, I talk very fast. I tend to ramble. And I could probably tell probably a grand total of maybe 10 people tuned into this stream. Um, let's see here. Oh, critical mass. Fine. Um, on the new Steam machine. What's the new Steam machine? Yeah, thank you, May. Because I mean, I and if I'll say, and I keep on saying I'm going to end on something, it's because really I rarely have a chance to talk to people, and I'm very asocial and awkward around people. I can count the number of people I know in this world on one hand, and most of them are family. But anyway, um, and I hate to go back to the times. I mean, the scammage, but I just have to say, as a word of advice, the reason that I hired those people, and despite and let them take advantage of me, is because I was afraid that when the game went viral, I did not have the skills to make the game all by myself with Laura and just one coder. I did not realize at that point I had everything within me that I needed going forward. And trust me, if you ever find yourself in the same situation as I did, where your game goes viral, and all of a sudden your project goes viral, and all of a sudden the entire game industry is looking at something that, you've been working on in your bedroom, almost solo for you'll be afraid. You'll be like, I need to hire people. I need people who know stuff. No, everything that got you to the point that you are is everything that you need going forward. Just if you feel you're getting money and your people expect you to spend it on coders, I wish I had taken that small amount of money that they stole and put it aside, so that when it came, because I mean, the game did not get back to being productive. Work did not get work stopped on the game until we got rid of those guys, and it just got back to me, Laura, and one coder like it was before. And I really regret that, because we could have seriously come out with a beta of Peace Island before Stray came out with their full game. But again, here's the thing: is I mean, I have gotten over it, and I'm moving forward. I do not spend all my time fretting about it. But let me tell you, if there's one thing I could do going back in time, is I just talk to myself back when I was, in 2019, in those latter months, when I was getting thousands and thousands of emails and such. I just go back and go, dude, you're going to get a phone call from some people with big resumes and big promises. Don't listen. Just keep on keeping on, man. You know what you're doing. Because, yeah, it is what it is. But we're verging into bad stuff, and I don't think anybody's commented or made any requests of what we want, if anything they want to see or something. I'm back. Had to get Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, I'm back. Had to get. Oh, hi, Richard. Steam Machine is a mini PC from Steam. Is that sort of like a Steam Deck? I don't know much about it, but I believe Peace Island does work on a Steam Deck. The Linux version can be somehow shoved into the Steam Deck. If the Steam machine works with Linux or Windows, we're doing both of those. We're also doing Mac, and jeez, I keep on saying this is the last thing. I'm just gonna stop saying that. People are asking questions, so I have to keep going. Well, not that I have to. I want to keep going. I don't know much about the technical specifications of new technologies. We do want to eventually release it for like platforms, but that depends on money. And I right now our main concern is just getting it so that you can use a regular console controller on the PC, because we have a lot of players that are just not used to doing the WASD keys. But let me tell you, if I could go back in time, that's another thing. Don't do it for the Mac. Don't do it for the Mac. The Mac version has caused so many headaches over the course of the last 8 years. More problems than I can just go into. It's just unbelievable. And the really crazy thing about Mac is that those guys, they think that if you're going to create a game for our products, do it for the iPad or do it for the iPhone. We are not going to give you any support if you try and create a game for our computers. And they do not. They're militant about giving you absolutely no support. Game developers. And I mean, when developers do come out with a game for the Mac, understand, I mean, Mac users, you need to understand, they did it through sheer grit, working in a system that's made by people who don't want to help them in any way, in a community that when you go to them and you say, hey, how come Macs do this crazy thing where you can't write stuff to your own hard drive, even though you're administrator? They will either not respond or they will come back with 3-paragraph explanation of how that is a benefit or a feature, and you're just missing the point. So it's pretty heartless. So don't do that. And I that is absolutely true. What the guy said in chat, right? Sorry, what you just said, and I don't want to go. Macintosh, understand the Mac, the USB cables for Mac that I think, I forget how much they are at the Mac store, probably about $25. They are literally made 5 meters, 5 yards away from the machines that make the same cords for the PC in the exact same factory town, in the exact same factory, made from the exact same stuff. And any Mac user who goes to, I think they recently came out with a Mac, like an iPad sock. No, like this stupid knit thing that you're supposed to stick your iPhone in. It's $150 freaking dollars, I think. My goodness gracious. It's just unbelievably sad. But here is the one thing I will say about Mac products. They last a long time. We were using a Mac Mini over basically as a TV or a cable box for, I think, 14 years. I think that Mac Mini lasted 14 years. I don't expect a PC to last for more than 4 or 5. So, I mean, the computer I'm making Peace Island on right now is sort of like the ship of Theseus. None of its original pieces other than the hard drives are still there. So, yeah, well, it's really heartbreaking when I saw a friend of mine move over from PC to Mac, but I guess he's happy with it. He's got the Siri, and he walks on. He just said, "Hey Siri, put on my playlist." And so you have Big Brother in your home there, buddy. I mean, I'm not Dale Gribble or anything, but all these things where they have the freaking like thing that listens to them constantly. I remember I was listening to a Duncan Trussell podcast, and he had the right attitude. Midway through his podcast, he just started screaming, "Siri, order 500 cartons of toilet paper." That's what you do. Tell you what, I didn't show the game at all in this demonstration, but that's because I really need to go through the Liz interior and solidify some objects. I could tell you. Here's the thing. We're just gonna let me see if I could just plop the kitty inside of the fallout shelter here. And I'm gonna turn off the height fog. Really? Oh, I see. I need to go into my main scene. So you just bumble around for a bit. Let's see where it's going. Oh yeah, Eric Interior. Another thing is we had to go from HDRP to SRP, standard render package, on this because we wanted the game to be most, accessible by the most number of people. By the way, while I'm here, no, this is the wrong. Let's see. I'm hoping this works. Don't laugh at me if it doesn't. Well, feel free to laugh at me. Manager, test spawn location. Where are you? Somewhere. Ah, there you are. This cat. And when you're outside, there are plants you can catch and butterflies you can catch and stuff, insects you can, hunt and such. Just to keep your, your fun food up. Interest. Oh, we had to stop calling it fun. We called it spirit because the problem is we didn't want people to go, oh, my fun level is too low. Damn it, I have to go back and have more fun. That's just not a place you want to put the player. So we replace it with a different stat. By the way, not all the books are text. Jesus, this is taking its sweet time. But I feel like engaging with that guy over on Steam who's like, this guy supports terrorism and censorship. Only because I'm like, please tell me how we are supporting terrorism, etc., etc. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, these are just stuff, just letters and stuff that's up. And let's see here. This is just the interior of the police department. Let's see here. Oh, the Roomba. Yeah, there's a Roomba you can catch a ride on if you want to. And if you look up here, you can see there are security cameras in certain places, and you'll be able to see things that's going on in other rooms. But what we're going to do now is just head down to the bottom. Now go by. I don't know why the light is shifting. I'm going to have to take a look at that. But yeah. Oh. There we go. Most of the interiors have, I think there's only one interior that has only one level. All the interiors have several. Oh, it doesn't look like the drone is working. Is it? Where'd the drone go? Oh, it was behind me. Oh, okay. But I mean, the reason for all of this being here, and if you capture this guy, you'll be able to see. You see, there was something going on there before, just as they were taken away. Oh, look, they cast shadows. I'm going to fix that. You see, their texture is supposed to be the shifting thing. but they cast shadows, so they got this weird visual thing. I'm gonna have to fix that. Anyway. And you'll see other things in the game if you go over to the library and a few other interiors that really explains what's going on in here. Yeah, there's just papers everywhere. I think there's music playing. See here. Sorry, we didn't have it done. Oh, these guys are supposed to disappear after 20 seconds. They're still here. Boy, I'm gonna have to fix that. They're supposed to week in and week out. So, I'll fix that in the next upload. Thankfully, we're not at full demo yet. But yeah, that's one interior. And the thing is, there are other rooms that you did see there. And I think in that one interior alone, there are probably about 50 pages of just stuff all over the place. And one thing I didn't show, you can, I think you'll be able to have 4 cats that follow you around. And there are some puzzles, like you can't get into the basement of the market unless you have 2 cats. You can't drive a golf cart unless you have 3 cats. And I'm trying to make it so that, anyway, there's a certain effect. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go away for another couple of seconds just to take on something, and I'm going to just see if there are any more comments or questions. If not, when I get back, if not, we're just going to consider it done for the evening. And thanks for everybody who watched. Be right back. So, sorry, I don't know whether you can see this, but really loves going. Don't own cat show. You're doing yourself a service. She loves hopping up. And she is she's getting along with our new kitten, but the thing is she used to be the kitten. We adopted her when she was a kitten, and now she's had to accept I'm no longer the cute little kitten. I don't think I was in that one. Leave it. I don't think you can. Anyway. Oh, well, you missed it, kitty. Sorry. I'm gonna go. Oh, there are people who typed. Sweet. So, if your device has a Mac, mic, they are listening. Yeah. Oh, when does the demo come out of Cat Island, of Peace Island? I think I've explained that. If you're a patron on Patreon, you can get access to builds right now. It's up on Steam. On November 30th, we're going to consider the beta pretty much done, and we're going to send it to publishers. Over the following month, we are going to work everything we can to get rid of everything else that's done. And whatever we have when we get, like I said, I don't think publishers are going to be interested in Peace Island. They just aren't. And that's unfortunate. But what we're going to do is, once we get from, the inevitable, nope, not interested from publishers, we are going to release the demo publicly on Steam, and ask people on the basis of this, if you want to see more, please buy pre-release, and we are going to use those to make sure that we can produce the first act, I would say around the 1st of July of next year. But understand, the game as it exists right now, the demo as it exists right now, if you want to see and do everything that's in the demo, you have about 8 to 12 hours. If you don't read the books, you still have about 3 to 4 hours of stuff. And I'd say again, there are games that give you less. Full games that give you less than that. So that's when it's coming out. I know it's going to be disappointing. I'm disappointed. I thought this would take me 5 years. But I put my trust in the wrong people. And yeah, it sucks. That's the way it goes. So let's see. Can you tell me why is it waste my time? Okay, hopefully demo sees. Okay, Richard. Sorry I answered your question. Personally, and I'm not going to say what's the last thing I'm going to say, but nobody had any questions about Peace Island. I'm going to say, other than when is it coming out, and we have the new, hopefully, date up on Steam tonight, soon. If you want to play it now, donate to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/Peace Island. It's just give us $1 or $2 a month, and if you're willing to say, hey, I'm willing to stick through to give you 25, we'll send you a key. Because we've depended on the support of people. That it was basically our only mode of funding, and yeah, I want to do right by them. You're a contributor, somebody who's come back, or I don't know. It was never my intention for all the bad stuff that happened over the years, while we were working on this game, to happen. Again, I just put my trust in the wrong people, and well, I learned a lot. One of the things that people think, oh, I'm buying something on pre-release, it'll never get done. These guys aren't committed. I've worked 8 damn years on poured everything in myself. And if you think I'm not going, I'm going to promise something, a pre-release on Steam, and I'm not going to deliver, that means I literally would be flushing down the last 8 years of my life down the toilet. And no, I'm not doing that. So I'm going to be here until I can get it done. Sorry it took so long. What's done is done. I'm just doing everything I can to make it fast, get it done as best as we can. Circumstance. All right. So good night, guys, gals, and those in between. I think I've covered everything, and I really appreciate those people who have tuned in. By the way, these are all contributed to development, former city executives. Anyway, I was really hoping that we would have the game done by now, but heck, I wanted to check in and just let everybody know we never gave up, we never stopped, and we're not going to stop until the game is finished. I've worked too hard to let it just stop. Give up now. So, take care, everybody. I'll see you later next time.